Welcome back to Dubai Autodrome. We are fired up, motivated and ready to rock and roll here in the fantastic battle for the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. A three-way fight for the title for my money between Evan Gilter of France, Freddie Stater of Great Britain and Brando Badura of Italy. It's going to be very tight for the remaining 7 races, and this one is going to be the toughest one yet. It's going to be a tricky one because it's going to be the driest and the toughest of the races, because these tyres have got to go the distance on the hottest conditions of the circuit. And our pole position sitter, Evan Gilter, will never have had it harder on the Dubai Autodrome. He's got a big mission in front of him with a lot of top drivers breathing down his neck. He's going to have a tough race of it right from the outset. The RHGP cars have definitely stepped it up a bit in terms of their attack, and they're not far away now from mounting a serious challenge. If the likes of Yuga Chukwu, Akshay Bora, Jin Nakamura and of course Onso Deligny can keep this momentum coming up, then there could be a lot of points taken off the top 3. We could get a very interesting sizzler by the time we get to Qatar. But certainly our man in pole position is going to have a tough mission to try and hold on to his position. I caught up with him on Friday to figure out just how his mission is going to be for the rest of this season. Well, Evan, I think a lot of people are very pleasantly surprised to see you at the top of the standings after the first 2 rounds. How do you rate how things went at Yas Marina?
Yeah, that's been really good. We exceed the first 2 rounds in the lead of the championship, so yeah, we're happy about this. But also we are not looking too much at the point for the moment. We just have to continue and keep the same way as we did in Yas Marina. And yeah, trying to get better and better. New track for me, new track for the team also. So yeah, we are going to do our best to make the same as Yas Marina.
What do you think was the key element to being at the sharp end? Because in round 1 there were a lot of things to catch up on. How did you turn it all around as a team and as a driver in round 2?
Yeah, we have worked a lot with the engineer to improve ourselves. For me, on the driving style, to improve my degradation on the tires, and for the engineer to work a lot on the car to improve and to get less degradation on the races, and it has worked for the course crew, so it was nice.
Well, you've now driven the Dubai Autodrome circuit. It's very different compared to Yas Marina. How would you describe it from a driver's point of view?
Yeah, I really like the track. It's really funny, uphills and downhills, so it's completely different than Yas Marina. There is a lot of sand and it's a bit hotter than Yas Marina, but I like it, and I will do my best to get the same result as Yas Marina.
The atmosphere. So the Dubai Autodrome will give us one final race battle here this weekend for the Formula Regional Middle East Championship, race 3, round 3. And Evan Gilter, the man we just heard from, starting from pole position, looking to extend his lead in the championship. But the man who's been on very fine form this weekend, the American star Yuga Chukwu, with a great chance to continue that battle. Going to be fascinating to see how it all continues, but it will be very interesting to see how it all progresses in this final race of the season. So we've got a very competitive race grid in front of us with Gilter versus Yuga Chukwu, the Frenchman and the American, working hard to run in close proximity, and it is going to be a tough race for Yuga Chukwu from second position on the grid. A lot of hard work ahead of him, that's for sure. But race 3 here at the Dubai Autodrome. Jake Sanson in the commentary box with you once again, all the way to the end of the season at Yas Marina and Qatar. After this one, there will be 6 races still to go. It's going to be a very interesting battle. The hottest it's been all weekend here at the Dubai Autodrome. The wind has died down a little bit. There's not a lot of sand on the circuit anymore, but if the wind picks up during the race, then it's going to get very tricky to hold those tyres in solid position. There is the Frenchman and the championship leader, Evan Gilter, taking each race one at a time. Gigi is loving life with the ART Grand Prix squad as he runs at the sharp end of the field. So it'll be fascinating to see how he can continue his mission from the pole. There is the American driver, Yuga Chukwu, running very strong and very impressive after his magnificent performance in race 1 earlier in the weekend. And of course he should have won race 3 at round 2 at Yas Marina. There is Rashid Al Daheri, third position on the starting grid, the Emirati, with a great chance to put the Emirates flag on the top step of the podium if he can make this race come towards him. It'll be an interesting one for the Mumbai Falcons driver, although of course he races in the Yas Heat colours of the nation. There is Teofil Nal continuing his journey with the Santalok Racing team before he departs for the FIA Formula 3 Championship, which kicks off in just a few weeks' time in Melbourne, Australia. On the same weekend, of course, as Formula 1. There is Freddie Slater, the man who has definitely given the British fans a real star to think about for the future. We've already got plenty of top drivers in Formula 1, but it looks like we could have another one in Freddie Slater. Brando Badua, Arzo Deligny, Jin Nakamura and Hiro Yamakoshi giving chase. Plenty of talent to try and take on the top level drivers. One race to go this weekend here at Dubai Autodrome on the circuit with 20 years of great racing behind it. Formula Regional could give us yet another sizzler before this season's weekend is out. So the contenders in the 2025 Formula Regional Middle East Championship Race 3, Round 3 are going to move themselves further up to the starting grid, and it'll be an interesting run on the formation lap. This will all be essential to warm up the tyres and the brakes to the optimum temperature so that they can charge in to the first corner. It'll be fascinating to see how they react and how the competitors will move forward, but we are ready for an exciting duel out here on the course. A couple of the drivers were talking about crosswinds during the F4 race a little earlier on. There's still an interesting conversation going on about the battle between Alex Powell and Kier Nakamura and who has actually won the third race of the weekend. We'll let you know about that on the social media feed for the F1 Middle East Championship if anything changes. But what a race we've got in prospect now. Evan Gilter has got a real pressure cooker brewing behind him. Yuga Chukwu, Rashid Al Daheri, Teofil Nall, Freddie Slater and Brandon Badua. Arguably the best 6 drivers in the championship are in the best 6 positions on the grid. We're in for a classic race if this setup is anything to go by. But how is it going to fare once 28 minutes and the extra lap have completed? This circuit always throws a little bit of spanner in the works. We saw a very strong podium from Freddie Slater in race 2 to win him back into 2nd in the championship. But by the end of this race, who is going to be the closest to Evan Schielter's lead? It looks to me as though he's not going to lose the lead, but it'll certainly be tighter if everything goes the way of the drivers behind. Here's the grid. Evan Schielter and Hugo Bogacic on the front row from Rashid Al Daheri and the Frenchman Théophile Nall lining up in the Santanok in P4. Then it's Freddie Slater alongside Brandon Badua, still fighting the 2 of them for the championship. Also Deligny and Jin Nakamura, who picked up his first win in the earlier race today in race 2. Hiro Yamakoshi in the top 10, Jack Beaton, Kanato Lee and Taito Kato. And then we have a fantastic run from Aaron Cameron alongside Akshay Bora, James Headley, the British driver, alongside the Mexican Ernesto Rivera, 16th on the starting grid. Behind them, it's going to be an interesting melee in the midfield as we have Liu Che alongside the American Everett Stack, and then Yaroslav Vazalaho is in there with the British driver Aditya Kulkarni. Outside the top 20, still plenty of talent to try and work their way to the points. Chuyan Pu, the Mercedes Junior, alongside Kardan Yanani. Difficult second qualifying for Dorian Bain, alongside the British driver Finlay Green for the Pinnacle Motorsport team. And then finally we have Jacob Bergmeister along with Wang Shengwei and the Vietnamese talent Alex Sawyer, who had a miserable second qualifying session. So with the 27 drivers locked and loaded, getting themselves up to speed around the course to get the tyres and brakes ready for racing, this will be a very tough mission for all of the drivers. 28 minutes plus 1 lap on this circuit can be pretty spicy, especially if you overcook or undercook the tyres on the formation lap. And don't forget, drivers have been telling us all weekend long that if you come off the line to make an overtake, that can do a lot of damage to the tyres, because if there's sand off the racing line, and you've obviously ventured off the racing line to work his way through into a position, then that can really play havoc with the tyres for the next couple of laps. So every overtaking move, every apex, every position on the circuit has to be calculated. So this will be a fascinating race battle up at the sharp end of the field. Gilter on the right in the ART Grand Prix, Hugo Bogacic on the left in the RSGP car. 2 French teams battling away at the sharp end. Evan Gilter, the pride of France, such a great performance in Formula Regional European last year. Hugo Bogacic, the McLaren Junior from New York City, the Macau Grand Prix winner and race 1 winner yesterday. Such promise for the American. Who's going to get to the first corner first? And can any of the men behind them put on a big show? The red lights will come on. When they're out, we are under starters' orders. Let's race to Dubai Autodrome for the last time. Not a good start from Gilter. Looks like Hugo Bogacic is going to draw level and potentially beat into the first corner. Hugo Bogacic has the inside line and the advantage. The Race GP car working well. Théophile Nall's had a great start as well. Evan Gilter's got to carry this right round the outside to retain the lead. Brilliant from Gilter. He lost out initially, but now he's back in front of Hugo Bogacic. Great work from the Frenchman as the rest of the field swarms through the opening couple of corners of the race, and the battle is raging early doors. Hugo Bogacic thought he had the lead there on Gilter, and so did I. Oh, spin! Problems, 2 or 3 cars going off the road together. That's a Mumbai Falcon in trouble. It's also one of the ART Grand Prix cars. So several drivers in dire straits then on the first sector. Absolute chaos as they work their way through. And as the rest of the field try and avoid the issues, it is Gilter who leads the way. Hugo Bogacic in second place without difficulty. And then it is Théophile Nall in front of Rashid Al Daheri. Looks like there's going to be a big, bold lunge for position. And it's Kanato Lee. Kanato Lee with a broken rear suspension. So he's going nowhere. I think that's going to result in a safety car, because he won't be able to move that car out of position at turn 6. Great and furious racing in the midfield as there is Evan Gilter trying to pull clear of Hugo Bogacic, having stolen back the lead after an initial difficult start. 4th position, that is the number 1, also Deligny having had a good start. He's now in P4, so an excellent start to the race then from Deligny. But it will be a fascinating run for the contenders as they get to safety car. There we go. I knew the safety car was going to come out the second we saw Kanato Lee's suspension at the rear right. So but knowing that that car could not move under its own steam, we were always going to get a safety car. These two are still side by side, as Yuka Wakachukwu suddenly realises, oh right, he's slowed down because we're under safety car. I get you. Well, safety car it is then in the third and final race of the weekend. I wonder if we can see a replay of what happened, because it got a little bit hectic in that part of the course. It's tough to know who did what first, and whether it was a car getting wide or whether there was contact initially, but certainly there was a real melee in the field, and we've lost a lot of drivers. Jack Beaton has gone down the field, Konato Lee is stationary, Akshay Bora lost ground, and it looks like so too did Dorian Pan. She lost a lot of positions trying to avoid it as well. Aaron Cameron's coming to the pit lane, so has Jack Beaton, so it's absolute pandemonium. And safety car collects the field. I was having a nice chat with them on the starting grid as they were telling me the procedure for allowing lapped traffic to go through. They actually have a green light in the rear window of the safety car. When that green light is illuminated, the car at the head of the field is allowed to overtake the safety car, which was explained in the driver's briefing, but a rather nervous David Gosmer rather forgot that in the F4 race yesterday. Right, here is what happened. Let's have a look. Oh, 3 into 1 doesn't go. That's what happened. And that was Jack Beaton being rather ambitious, it has to be said, trying to make the move on the inside there with Konato Lee, and Iggy in the middle, I think that was, for Alex, well, it can't be Alex Sawyer, but it was certainly a blue car. I think it might have been Aaron Cameron who got squeezed there in the middle, so that'll be why the Australian ended up having to come into the pits. Jack Beaton's gone out again, but Aaron Cameron has not, I noticed, so he is still stuck in pit lane. I think Aaron Cameron's car may well be out of the race. So rather sadly, the two Australians in the field, Aaron Cameron and Jack Beaton, connected with each other, and that left Paul Bruce, Konato Lee, with nowhere to go. So the Japanese driver out of the race on lap 1, and that's why we're under safety car. But both the Australian drivers in the field, Aaron Cameron and Jack Beaton, ending up having to come into the pits. Beaton has been in, repaired the car and gone out again. Aaron Cameron does not look like he is returning to the race. So, bitter disappointment for the two of them. What that's done to the order, though, the shuffle of the deck, if you like, in the middle of the field, has changed things rather dramatically in the mid-pack. Evan Shields leads. Yuka second from Teofil Nala and Ansu Deligny. Then Brandon Padua and Rashid Al-Daheri, who had a terrible start, unfortunately, for the Emirati. Hiyu Yamakoshi got a flyer. He's up to 7th in front of Freddie Slater. There he is, working his way through in front of the number 27. 8th position. 9th place for Jin Nakamura. Then 10th is Ernesto Rivera. 11th is Taito Kato in front of Lulu Che. And then James Headley in front of Kaitan Yanani. Aditya Kulkarni and Vladislav Vesalaho. Everett Stack, Chuyan Pu, Finley Green, Dorian Barr, Alex Sawyer, Jacob Bergmeister, Akshay Bora, Walsham Way, and then Jack Beaton will be in the back of the field. Here's the replay again, and watch, we're going to go 3 wide in the apex, and Jack Beaton and Aaron Cameron connect, collide with Konato Lee. Akshay Bora has to take avoiding action and drop to the back, but Konato Lee's rear suspension completely destroyed. Getting another replay into the hairpin for the first time, a couple of drivers trying to make a move or two. As the melee continues all the way through this particular hairpin. Always difficult to see when a driver picks their move and which move they decide to go for. Still under safety car because it's a rather awkward position that we're under the stationary car at turn 6. But this will be helping everybody who's a little bit nervous about going the full 28 minutes plus 1 lap with the tyres they're on. Because of course being behind the safety car means that the tyres will be worn out less. The engines will be pushed a little bit less as well, so everybody's got that little bit extra in the tank to take them to the checkered flag. Shields there, Yukichukwu, Teofil Nal, Deligny, Padua and Al-Daheri in the top 6 from the final point scorers. Yamakoshi, Slater, Nakamura, Rivera, Kato and Lulu Che. Very good work indeed from James Headley on that first lap. He's up to 13th position, the British driver. One of the oldest in the field, it has to be said, 21 years of age. He's never had as much luck as he has had speed, but he's 1 place away from scoring points on his first weekend in a Formula Regional. Let's not forget that. So very good effort so far from the British talent. Who else is on the move? Everett Stack has done a fair job on the opening lap, staying out of trouble. The American has certainly forced the issue and worked his way back into a position of prominence. Finley Green's done a fair job, as has Chuyan Pu. He had a miserable qualifying, as did his fellow Mercedes junior Dorian Barr. They've both stayed out of trouble and worked their way through the melee without damage. So they've both managed to put themselves into a better position. Gilter, Yugachukwu and Teo Filnal will be the top three. Deligny looked pretty strong off the start, as did Hio Yamakoshi, the Japanese driver, in front of Freddie Slater. So a lot of opportunities here in the third race of the weekend to score big. Safety car in at the end of this lap. There they go, the lights go out on the safety car, and Evan Gilter now becomes the head of the pack once again. And it's up to him when we go racing after that point. As soon as he drops the hammer and charges back to the line, then we'll be back under race conditions. Lights up on the safety car. We look back to see where Evan Gilter is. He's held the field up quite a lot already heading to this final section of the course. Rather a lot, it has to be said. He's really backing up the pack. He wants to make sure that the battle for second position becomes a little bit more hectic than the battle for the lead. At this rate, I think the safety car everybody is going to be tightening those together. Gilter could drop the hammer halfway through this apex. Tightening to perfection as he comes on the turn. When he boots the throttle, charging up the crest to try and go for it. Now he's done for it. Beautiful restart from Gilter. Not a lot Yugachukwu can do initially to stay with him, but he'll have to have a clean opening lap to stay with the Frenchman as they go up to the top of the crest and then in through the final turn. Evan Gilter is going to have about 4 car lengths, I think, on Yugachukwu as they come to the finish line. And as the drivers go back into race conditions, it's green, 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 green here at Dubai Autodrome as we continue the battle. So Gilter, Yugachukwu, Nile, Deligny, Badua and Aldeheri. That's your top 6 at the moment as Slater tries to get his move on the inside line of Yamakoshi, and at the same time it is Rivera who dives in at the inside of Jin Nakamura. So a good move from the Red Bull Junior, who takes on the Toyota Junior, and now there could be a bit of a presence from Taito Kato as the third of the ART Grand Prix drivers is out of the race. The second one, Taito Kato, is going to step up the attack on his rival Jin Nakamura, but he's got to watch out for Liu Che in the Origin car as well. The Chinese ace has got an opportunity to work his way back into the points in solid position. He's currently P12, and that's James Headley round the outside in the Axel GP. James Headley going wheel to wheel with the Origin, and he's through! My goodness, what an overtake from James Headley. That took some steel. Excellent work. So now they're going to work their way through to the hairpin. Yugachukwu's got a little bit closer to Gilter. Still the battles rage as Headley's now going wheel to wheel with Taito Kato. He's still stepping up the attack, but there is Gilter, pushing himself into a lead that is perfectly capable of holding on to. Yugachukwu still close in second. There is the 12 of Brando Badua, the Italian in the PHM. Up to the third and final sector. Gilter has got a bit of a lead now on Yugachukwu. It's not particularly comfortable yet, but if it stays this way for the next 10 minutes, it'll get more comfortable by the second. So terrific work from the contenders as there is another big charge forward on the back of Rashid Aldeheri from the Japanese driver, Hio Yamakoshi, still very much a rookie. Now the incident involving the 4 cars that slipped off the road on the first lap, Akshibora, Aaron Cameron, Kanato Lee and Jack Beaton will be investigated after the race. No surprises about that one. But down to the first corner. A couple of drivers trying to throw a driver or two off the scent and out of the tow. Rashid Aldeheri's got big pressure from Hio Yamakoshi. This is a great drive from the Japanese ace. Yamakoshi in the pinnacle. Don't forget this is his 3rd race in a Formula Regional out here in the Middle East. He is doing a grand job as a rookie, hustling it with the drivers who have been at the front of the field all season long. So Hio Yamakoshi, this is going to be a notice to all of the race teams back home in Japan, in Super GT and Super Formula, to all the teams in Formula Regional in Europe, and obviously to all the teams in Formula 2 and Formula 3. Watch out for Yamakoshi. This is a man with a lot of ability, and considering that he's already up at the top 6, battling with the guys who have been mixing it at the front all season long in Formula Regional, in only his first weekend in the car, that's got to be given some credit. So Gilter, Yugachukwu, Teo Filnal, then Deligny, Badua, Aldeheri and Yamakoshi. 8th place for Freddie Slater, again really struggling on this Dubai Autodrome circuit. Very different to race this car in a Formula Regional than it is in a Formula 4. Looks like someone going off the road there. I think that was one of the race GP cars. Having a bit of a moment. So was that Akshibora or was that Jin Nakamura? Hard to tell. This driver's running sideways a little bit there. Everett Stack having a really tough duel there with one of the Satellots. I think that was Yaroslav Zalaho, the Ukrainian driver. So some really menacing racecraft through that midfield. But a very good run so far as they continue their journey on. Gilter, look, has actually built up a bit of a gap over Hugo Chukwu, but even he's struggling to keep it on the racing line. You can see how much of the racetrack they're using, half on and half off as it would be. Remember that old nursery rhyme, diddle diddle dumpling my son John? I think it was one shoe off and one shoe on. That was pretty much how the drivers were working their way through. Another bit of a challenge there as the XLGP car of Aditya Kulkarni is dueling away with Everett Stack. We very nearly had a carbon copy of the incident that took out Hiro Yamakoshi and Ernesto Rivera in race 1 yesterday. But wheel to wheel, Everett Stack trying to go around the outside of Kulkarni. Is that going to be enough for the American? They tag wheels! How did they avoid an accident there? Both drivers sliding wide, and somehow we do not have an accident. Good save from both Kulkarni and Stack. That would have been an accident in any other incident, in any other lap, in any other championship, but somehow they got away with it. Oh, and there's a spin for the back. Oh, and we haven't got away with that one. 3 cars in together, and that's Dorian Pain, who's come together with one of the pinnacles. I think that's Finley Green and Jacob Bergmeister who have gone in as well. That's going to be another safety car. Well, we got away with the first save, but we certainly didn't get away with the second one. And then it looks like there's an investigation into a jump start for Kaidari Yanani and Yuga Chukwu. Oh my goodness, they're investigating a possible jump start for Yuga Chukwu. And that's going to be investigated after the race. Kulkarni and Everett Stack are still dueling away for position. And Everett Stack, oh, he's lost it! He's lost the BHM! So Everett Stack loses the car completely. That's got to be potential damage picked up in the little love tap with Aditya Kulkarni. Safety car, no question. So Stack's lost it. We've got a 3-car pile-up in at turn 7. Unfortunately, we have lost 3 cars in the mix there. We've lost Everett Stack to a spin, but we've also lost Finley Green, Jacob Bergmeister and Dorian Pain. The Englishman, the German and the French racer, Dorian Pain. So, very disappointing indeed. And that's 3 drivers out of the race. There was just no time to respond for either Pain or Bergmeister. So very difficult indeed there as Finley Green, the back end of the car came around. There's no time to respond on that corner. So very tricky stuff. So Jacob Bergmeister, Dorian Pain and Finley Green all out of the race. Everett Stack spun the car. I don't know whether he got it going again, but certainly down at the back. And so the safety car is out for a second time. Well, I think the reason that Everett Stack lost the back end of his car was there must have been a little bit of damage, structural damage to the left rear suspension of his car when he made contact with Aditya Kulkarni in turn 1. So there must have been a little bit of damage to the car. But the big news is that there is a jump start being investigated for both Kaidari Yanani in the Evans Grand Prix car, but more importantly for Yuga Chukwu. So Yuga Chukwu in second place is being investigated for a possible jump start. That investigation will take place after the race. But if he gets a penalty, well, that's going to promote Théophile Nard to second and Anza Deligny to third, and that would be an all-French podium. So Yuga Chukwu doesn't need any more bad luck this season. He had it all at Yas Marina. We have cars obviously clattered into each other. That's why they're missing the course. Now that's a problem because obviously they've got to go around the course by cutting the inside lane. And look, that's where all the sand is because the sand hasn't been moved off. So that's going to really affect the quality of the tyres. Let's look again. This is what happened to bring out the safety car. We're going to watch Finley Green. He goes out wide. He cuts back in for the inside, but he's got on the dirt. There's nothing Dorian Pain can do. She turns in. No chance to get out of it. Jacob Bergmeister collects as well. Everybody else has got to pick a way through. Here's the battle between Kulkarni and Stack. They've obviously already had their little love tap, but Stack goes right off the circuit. He's got sand on the tyres, pirouettes around. Nothing he can do. So 2 incidents on the same lap. Safety car was always inevitable. So questions and comments coming in on the stream. We love to have those particular questions. What's the penalty for a jump start usually, says Affenschnauzer? Well, it can be anything up to a 5-second penalty. So Yuga Chukwu's got to hope he can pull out 5 seconds on Théophile Nard, because otherwise it was going to be a very difficult situation indeed. And just as Ash Bryant was pointing out for Dorian Pain, nothing she could have done to avoid the spin from Finley Green. So difficult to get out of that. So Gilter, Niall and Deligny could be the top three if Hugo Mugachukwu makes a penalty after a potential jump start. We saw how good his start was. I didn't think it was a jump start, but potentially it's being investigated, which means there is a possibility. Jack Monaghan points out that if Hugo Mugachukwu does get a penalty, then we'll get a podium that could be more French if we were wearing a beret and striped shirt, carrying a baguette. The trophy is presented by a bumbling police inspector. He's been watching the Pink Panther movies, hasn't he? Monaghan is clearly old school. Love it. Nothing like a good Peter Sellers movie. For those under the age of 25 who haven't got a clue what I'm talking about, get on IMDb, watch them. They're still timeless classics even now. So Evan Gilter leads Hugo Mugachukwu, although the American is under investigation for a potential jump start. That won't count until the end of the race. Teofil Niall in third, Monta Deligny in fourth, Brandon Medua in fifth, Aldaheri, Yamakoshi, Slater, Rivera, James Headley now in 10th, so a great drive for the Brits so far, and then Taito Kato and Liu Ruche in the top 12. There are other drivers who are going to try and score some points in this one. Kai Dadianani and Jin Nakamura, who's really struggled in the opening phase of the race, down in 14th now. Ahead of Aditi Kulkarni, Yaroslav Vezalaho, Julian Bu and Akshay Bora. From Alex Sawyer, Mong Shan-wei, Jack Beaton and Everett Stack. Just 22 cars left in this race because we've had retirements now from Finley Green, Corinne Barr and Jacob Bergmeister. And then we also had Aaron Cameron and Kanato Lee. All of the contenders as we continue to battle away in position. While we're on the safety car, I'm going to take a few comments and try and assess some situations for people. An interesting one for all of the drivers out there in position. Andrew points out on the stream that he wishes there were about 3 more TV camera positions in the circuit. I like your anticipation and your ambition, but these things do cost money. We're on Formula Regional budget. If we were Formula 1, then we could afford 1 million cameras and 1 million onboards, and we could have one of the most world-class top-rate productions possible. Just remember, about 30 years ago, you would never have been able to watch a Formula Regional grade race live. So I say it's frustrating. I do understand, but that kind of budget only gives you so much. Be grateful for what you have, because you could have nothing. Let's have a look again at Finley Green's moment. See, he gets onto the dust, that's the problem. He gets off online, and then obviously sand's gone on the tyres. Parrott and Bergmeister have no time, no chance to get out of the speed. They were always going to be collecting in the accident. Now, the problem here with Everett Stack and Aditya Kulkarni is they've already made the contact. That was back at turn 1. But look, Stack, he gets offline completely. The car bottoms out as he goes off the racing line and then skates off the road. There was nothing Everett Stack could do either. Once 4 wheels left the circuit and got off the line, and the sand got onto the tyres, absolutely nothing could do. It's a very tricky situation for the drivers now, because of course when they go through turn 6, when they go through turn 7, sorry, they're actually having to pull off the racing line, off the circuit, and then feed their way off the road as they continue off the line, and they're going completely off the circuit, cutting the corner on the infield, and that's full of sand. So that sand is obviously going onto the tyres, and it doesn't matter how many laps you do behind the safety car to work the sand off, it's going to damage the quality, it's going to damage the integrity on top of the surface of the tyre. So very tricky indeed to know just how much that's going to affect the cars when they go back to green again, having to come off the racing line twice it's going to be, because obviously they've done quite a fair bit of work to clean the circuit, but the problem is that you've got to avoid at least that part of the circuit for 2 laps. A third is possible. So Averschnauzer wants to know how much time is left. We've got just under 7 minutes remaining, plus the additional lap at the end of the time, of course. So it will be fascinating to see how it continues, but I think those couple of laps where they've run off the road to avoid clean-up job could actually do a lot of damage to a couple of the drivers' tyres. Let's see what state we're in as we go through this time. If we're going to have to skip that corner again, then there's going to be 2 more laps behind the safety car. If we're going to stay on the road, yeah, look, we're driving off the circuit again, so that's the problem. We've got 3 cars to recover in that part of the course, and it's a bit of a dangerous part of the circuit to recover cars from, but that is ridiculously tricky for the drivers because they've got to drive off the road onto the infield where the sand it has collected, and no drivers have obviously driven over that part of the course, so there's no chance to clear the sand. So that's really, really tricky. Well, great to see your comments and your questions. Jonathan wants to know which of these drivers will go to F3. Well, this year, we know for a fact that we're going to see Yugamuga Chukwu in FIA Formula 3. We're also going to see Teofil Nal in FIA Formula 3. And I'm fairly sure Brandon Badua has got himself a drive in the championship as well in FIA Formula 3. This is where I have to revert to my fact file for my database for the championship for this year. Not all of the drives are confirmed in FIA Formula 3 for this year, as far as I'm aware. I think there are still a couple of seats left to fill, but certainly for this year's championship, it's going to be fascinating to see how it's all going to look. But Brandon Badua has a seat with Prema, as of course so too does Yugamuga Chukwu. Trying to see who else on this year's Formula Regional Middle East grid. There's Teofil Nal, of course, has a seat with Van Amersfoort. I think that's it. Pretty much everybody else, the drivers have taken some time off to get themselves embedded in. Although last year's Formula Regional Middle East champion took a Tarpaulin, he is on the FIA Formula 3 grid this year with the ART Grand Prix squad that are here, of course, racing in Formula Regional Middle East for the first time. So that's 3 drivers on this year's grid, definitely going into Formula 3. Whether we're going to see some more Formula 3 drivers on the grid, well, there are a couple of seats still available at the AIX racing team with Javier Segreira, so you never know. There is a chance that we could see 1 or 2 more drivers from this grid working their way into Formula 3. 4.5 minutes left of the race. We're on a safety car for at least 1 more lap. Frustrating, I know. At the same time, they have to make a decision to try and figure out who's going to do what. So let's see how tricky these last couple of laps are going to be, because they're obviously going to have a lot of sand that will have gone onto the tyres over the 3 laps they've been behind the safety car already. And the big question is there any wreckage on the corner that the drivers are going to have to avoid? I think they've cleared it, so this should be the lap when the safety car will come back in, which means that we're going to have about 2.5 minutes of race time, plus the additional lap at the end to push their way forward. So it looks as though, yeah, everybody is running on the circuit itself now rather than skipping that corner. So it looks to me as though we have now completely cleared the circuit. Good work from the Emirates Motorsports organisation. They obviously do very well under the tutelage and direction of the Sheriff, as he is known in the pit lane, Imran, the Chief Marshal. Well done to all of the marshals around the circuit. We couldn't go racing at all without them. We are very grateful indeed for their time and their hard work. They are not paid to do that. They do it because they are passionate about the sport and they want to get close to it, and obviously they want to do a great job and celebrate the sport in this region. Safety car in at the end of this lap. Lights out on the safety car. So now we're going to go back to green conditions. Can Evan Shielter hold off Yugamuga Chukwu? Now on paper, everybody's tyres should now go the distance because we've spent 4 laps behind the safety car. But they did drive off the road to avoid the action at turn 7, so there will be a lot of sand that has gone on everybody's tyres for 4 laps. Even if you weave from side to side to try and get the tyres clean, there's only so much you can do, and it still damages the integrity of the tyre having a lot of sand on it. So expect some drama in these last couple of laps. It's all down to Shielter. Don't forget that Yugamuga Chukwu has got a potential penalty for jumping the start coming his way. Shielter's going to try and trick Yugamuga Chukwu. He's going to wait a bit more. Now he's gone for it. So Shielter has put his foot to the throttle, and Yugamuga Chukwu is a little bit closer to him than he would like. If Yugamuga Chukwu can get ahead and get 5 seconds clear, it doesn't matter if he does get a penalty. So now we're going to push our way through for the final 2 minutes of racing, and we're going to go green, 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 green for the last time, hopefully, in the weekend. Charging down to the first corner. We're only going to get a 2-lap sprint out of this race, but what a 2-lap sprint it could be. Down to the first corner, already a couple of drivers trying a move or two. That is a big bold lunge from Freddie Slater, round the outside of Hiyu Yamakoshi, who is not making it easy, but Slater gets in front. Good run from Slater. Yamakoshi's now going to have to work hard to keep Ernesto Rivera at bay. So now they will work hard in these final couple of laps, but Rivera really wants to make another position. Can he get past his teammate, who of course tangled with him in the race yesterday? And that's why we ended the race with a red flag. So now we're going to get to see if they can have their battle cleanly. And don't forget the ART Grand Prix of Taito Kato is right in behind them as well. James Headley has lost the position initially to Taito Kato on the restart. But Headley's still looking good for a point or two ahead of Liu Che. Shields here trying to get well clear of Yuga Chukwu. Big dice coming up as here goes a bit of a defensive move from Rivera. Rashid Al-Aheri, he's going to try and get up the inside of Brandon Badoa and force the issue. Rashid Al-Aheri holds his nerve, but Badoa tries to keep his foot in. Lots of side-by-side action into the hairpin. But Rashid Al-Aheri's going to get the move on Badoa, and it looks as though Slater could get the move done as well around the far side. He tries to tuck back in on the switch, and Slater gets ahead of Badoa. That could be big for the championship by the end of the season. Don't forget the two of them are trying to stay close to Gilter's score. So that could be perfect as far as Slater is concerned. Getting that move on Badoa is precious. Now he's going to go around the outside of Al-Aheri, his teammate. But Al-Aheri's going to hold his nerve. Badoa's going to get alongside Slater, but he'll have to back out of the move. Yuga Chukwu stepping up the attack on Gilter as they go into what is going to be the final lap. So everybody working their magic, but it could be a tough one for Gilter to hold on to. Yuga Chukwu's got to push him, and he'll be 0.6 of a second away from him over the line. So it's still very achievable for the American. Last lap, and there is a 4-car battle going on behind the leaders as Al-Aheri, Slater, Badoa, and Yamakoshi are going to have a bit of battle. Badoa on the inside of Slater. Slater wobbles. Yamakoshi's going to try and put his nose alongside Slater and keep his foot in. Can he get ahead of the British driver? Yamakoshi holding it. Slater around the outside stays strong. Badoa's trying to hold his nerve, but Slater's going to try and get alongside the Italian. He can't get there. If Badoa travels even slightly wide and next apex or two, then Slater's going to have his chance again. But down the back straight, Gilter has a little bit of a gap on Yuga Chukwu, but is it going to be enough to hold the lead of this race to the checkered flag? A victory now for Gilter with Slater in 6th and Badoa in 7th could be absolutely vital for Gilter's championship attack. In fact, it's the other way round now, isn't it? Badoa in front of Slater, but Gilter's got a bit of a gap on Yuga Chukwu. It should be nice and stable for him there. And if Yuga Chukwu does get a penalty, it'll be Teofil now 2nd and Deligny in 3rd. So it'll be an all-French podium if it works out that way. But this is perfect for Evan Gilter. They came into the first weekend of the season knowing that they had to play catch-up. But just as they did in round 2 at Yas Marina, here in Dubai, the ART Grand Prix team have been strong. Slater still trying to get the move on Badoa whilst also holding up the challenge from Hiyu Yamakoshi. But in this 2-lap sprint, Evan Gilter has done exactly what he needed to. He has worked his tyres to perfection. He has made sure he's got grip and stability, and he will work his way through. Evan Gilter will come out of the final turn, and the Frenchman will add another 30 points to his tally. The message going back to Yas Marina next week is catch me if you can. Qui a gagné? I'll tell you who's won it. It is Evan Gilter. Evan Gilter a gagné. A fabulous victory. Evan Gilter adds 30 points to his score with the race 3 win at Dubai Autodrome. Yuga Chukwu 2nd over the line. Teofil now 3rd. Anso Deligny 4th. From Rashid Al-Aheri, who gets another rookie victory over Freddie Slater and Brando Badoa. With Hiyu Yamakoshi 8th in front of Ernesto Rivera, Taito Kato. And then it's Liu Che who gets 2 points. The final point goes to Jin Nakamura. So unfortunate for James Headley and Kai Danianani. They both just miss out on a point score at the end. With Aditi Kulkarni 15th from Mazalaho, Chu, Bora, Stack, Sawyer, Wang, and then it is Jack Beaton. Well, very tricky stuff then for Evan Gilter. Excellent performance. And really good work indeed from the Frenchman. Gigi has come to cook, and he did a fantastic job. And I'm sure there'll be plenty of chef's kisses down there in the holding area after the race. The flamboyant Frenchman has been supreme in race 3. all the pressure, all of the intensity from his rivals. He soaked it up, and a very useful 30 points in the championship. He's going to have a strong lead heading to the final 6 races of the year. So excellent work. Of course, that's going to be a real advert to the teams in Formula 2 and Formula 3. Evan Schielter is a man you should not mess with. He's got plenty of skill and ability. He is world class. He may not have the same budget as those in Formula 1 academies, but I tell you what, if you put this boy in with the right people, with the right funding, Schielter is going all the way to the top, baby. Fabulous racer. Great personality as well. He would be gold dust in Formula 1. And I really, really hope, as a good friend and a very good supporter of Evan Schielter, that he'll have his chance in the future. This sport isn't just about money. It should also be about talent, passion and determination. Evan Schielter and the ART Grand Prix team in fantastic style. There is his teammate Taito Kato. I think we were trying to pick up Evan Schielter, who's taking a rather long time on this slowing down lap. He's soaking it up. There is the origin of Wangchong Wei. Fabulous stuff for Evan Schielter. Excellent drive and excellent racecraft. Very deserving victory. Yugo Chukwu crossing the line second and Teofil Nal third. That post-race investigation continuing on its way. Berin Paulet wants to know, how can we help him? Well, sponsorship is always the way to help drivers work their way forward. Get in touch with the big French companies. They can put a superstar into Grand Prix racing by backing the right talent. Yugo Chukwu second, Teofil Nal third. Those two are going to be in Formula 3. Evan Schielter is ready to be in Formula 3, but the budget needs to come back to him. Excellent work though from our drivers here in Formula Regional Middle East. 6 races to go in the championship. The next round of the championship will be next week on the Saturday and the Sunday, just down the road from here at the Yas Marina circuit, the scene of so many world champions in Formula 1, where Nico Rosberg, Sir Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen have all become Formula 1 world champion over the years. And here is the man to get the job done in fine style, just making sure he doesn't tag the wheels of Teofil Nal and Yugo Chukwu. It's threading the needle exactly in the right position. Well, he doesn't mind, he doesn't worry too much about these things. I think we're going to get to see an iconic run now from the man who climbs his car, Evan Schielter. A very important victory. He will run to the ART Grand Prix mechanics. Excellent stuff. He goes to Yas Marina with a huge lead. The champion could well be the man you're looking at. Did a great job in Europe last year, doing a great job in the Middle East this year. Evan Schielter from Yugo Chukwu and Teofil Nal. Hanzo Deligny in 4th place ahead of Rashid Al-Daheri, who gets the rookie win from Freddie Slater. Then Brando Badoa, Hiro Yamakoshi, Ernesto Rivera, Taito Kato, Ludice and Jin Nakamura. They are your point scorers in what was a very tough 3rd race of the weekend. Cash may be king, but the king of Dubai is Evan Schielter in the final reckoning. Can he win the championship? You'll have to watch next week to find out. The podium is next. Let's catch up with the top three drivers then in the third race of the weekend here at Dubai. Teofil Nal for Santalok in third position. Good to see you back on the rostrum again. It looks like a tricky weekend for you, but nice way to end it.
Yeah, tricky weekend so far, but the pace in quali was much better than Abu Dhabi. So yeah, it's a positive thing for the team. We worked hard to deserve. I think we deserve this podium because yeah, race 1 was good. I finished P4. Race 2, unfortunately, I got a penalty, but yeah, it's like this. And yes, pace was good, was strong. The team did a really good job, thanks to them.
We're glad to see it, and hopefully we'll see some more at Yas next week. Good job.
Yeah, let's see. Thank you.
So we speak with Teofil now. Let's talk to the man in second position, the American driver from New York City for the McLaren Junior and RHGP squads. Hugo Gachukwu. Hugo, very tough race out there. I think without the safety car, there could have been a real good chance to challenge for the win, but I guess damage limitation after a shortened race.
Yeah, for sure. I got a really good start, so we're side by side into T1. I thought I'd brake quite late, but yeah, everyone braked even later, so fair play to him. He did a good move. And then from there, yeah, unfortunately lost the safety car, so didn't really get a chance to, try to attempt to move for the lead again. But nevertheless, I think it's been overall pretty good weekend. Like, of course, I wanted to win, but we made lots of points, and yeah, I think overall it was a positive weekend. We went forward in the championship, and yeah, looking forward to Abu Dhabi, and hopefully we can, keep on this pace and keep fighting for wins.
It's great to see you back on the pace and back up the top end where you belong. Good job.
Thank you.
Now let's try a word with the race winner after un victoire formidable. I'm sure everybody will be writing. Evan Gilter doing such a great job with the ART Grand Prix team. Evan, that was really controlled, very smooth throughout. A lot of difficulties with safety cars and dusty race circuits, but you pulled it off, and 30 points when it counts.
Yeah, this one feels good. After a brilliant weekend with the pace, we did 2 pole positions. The only mistake that we did was the start of race 1 yesterday. We ended up in 3rd place, so it's not so bad for the championship also. Then this morning we did an awesome comeback from 8th to 5th in the race 2, and to finish with the victory now with a good move into T1 and a really calm race with a good strategy from the team, which I really thanks for the all works they did. ART Grand Prix, my engineer, my mechanics, they did an almost awesome job, yeah.
We can't wait to see how many points you'll pick up next week at Yas. Good job.
I'll do my best.
I'm sure you will. One man's going to be enjoying the trip back to Yas Marina off the back of 2 rookie wins in the championship as well. Rashid Al Daheri, who gets to go home next week with an even stronger chance to get an overall victory. Very solid race there. Tough battles with the drivers around you, but once again, you managed to maximise it.
Yeah, I think overall the start, of course, wasn't great. Starting from 3rd, then we went back all the way to 6th. I think the safety cars didn't help us out a lot because, you have less time when you're racing, but I think we were able to maximize the time we had. I think was one of the little drivers that were able to overtake on the safety car restart, and yeah, I think we've been building up, we've been learning. I think we just continue forwards, and then things will come.
Great to see the UAE flag on the podium once again. Good job.
Thank you very much.
Last time this weekend we have a Formula Regional Middle East Championship podium certified by FIA after another thrilling encounter. The 3rd and final podium of the weekend here at Dubai Autodrome, celebrating 20 years of motorsport. In 3rd position for France, Teofil Nal. Great to see the Santalok man back on the podium once again. More silverware to add to his collection. In 2nd position for the United States of America, Hugo Gachukwu. Great run from the man from New York City. The McLaren Junior back on the rostrum, scoring big points once again. But your race winner for France, Evan Gilter. He heads to Yas Marina with a strong lead in the championship. Catch me if you can is his message. And for the rookie win for the United Arab Emirates, Rashid Al Daheri. On the rostrum at home. Now it's my honour once again to invite Mr. Faisal Al-Salawi, the General Manager of Dubai Autodrome, who will hand the trophies. Firstly, in 3rd for France and Santalok Racing, Teofil Nal. In second for the United States and RHGP, Yugo. And in first position for France and ART Grand Prix, Evan And for the last time this weekend, the Rookie Cup winner for the United Arab Emirates and Mumbai Falcons Racing, Rashid Al-Daheri. A fabulous podium to end the weekend in the Formula Regional Middle East Championship. Let's get everybody together on the rostrum and looking at the pit wall for the final photographs. This championship really is sizzling. It's going to be exciting at Yas Marina next week as we go to the 4th round of the championship. But the boys here in Dubai can have some fun as we get busy with the celebrates 20 years of motorsport. We can't wait to return, but for now, in the year the circuit celebrates 20 years of motorsport. We can't wait to return, but for now, we have 2 weekends left in Formula Regional Middle East, Yas Marina next week, and Lusail International Circuit in Qatar at the end of February. From all of us here, from myself, Jake Stanton, and everybody at Top Speed, thank you very much indeed for watching. We'll see you in 6 days' time at Yas Marina. Bye for now.